Hi everyone, welcome to another X-Wing video. So today I'm going to do one of the videos I've not done for a while. I'm going to talk about my opinions on some stuff. So I was reading a really interesting article on a guy's blog from the UK on the Stay on the Leader, and I found it on just the Facebook group for UK and Ireland. And yeah, it's a really interesting read. I forgot the guy's name again now, because I'm horrible. Oh, David Sutcliffe. So he's written a really well presented article on the top lists that are making the cuts and different things like that. And it's really good. I definitely recommend reading it. So it is stayontheleader.blogspot.co.uk, I think it would be. Or .ca is what it comes up as for me, but I think that's just because I'm in Canada, you know. But yeah, if you search for Stay on the Leader, I'm sure it'll come up. I'll put a link to the blog in the show notes and description and stuff like that. But breaking down to a part that I actually wanted to talk about is got a nice pie chart. I think we can see it here, breaking down wave 1, wave 2 and 3 up here. Wave 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah blah blah. Obviously no wave 10 information's really in yet. I think there is a regionals tomorrow in Saskatchewan and probably some more around, which will be the first wave 10 regionals, I believe, unless there was something last weekend I'm not 100% on, but well, basically the data hadn't been collected, so this is what we've got to work with. And it's talking about the fact that the faction split is a lot better than it has been, but the new waves are just dominating the older waves. And then one thing I just noticed, and it's the same conversation I've had with a few different people, that we have this caveat here that obviously any of the fixes that were released with the Raider have gone into wave 7, and the fixes that came out for Defenders have gone into wave 9. So Defenders stopped sitting here and moved to here, and TIE Advance stops being wave 1, becomes wave 7. So, and obviously the Lambda as well moves in now. Palpatine is the one he's actually talking about, because that's where we saw most of the thing. But I remember thinking about this stuff for a while, and this isn't a criticism. It's been really clear on the assumptions he's made and why he's made them. So this isn't a knock at this article in any way, shape or form. The information is presented and how we got to this point of the information. So it's all really well done. But I did just want to talk about it in a slightly different way and give my opinion on it, basically. And there's different ways that I look at power creep. So, for me, the power creep always has a negative connotation when you say that phrase. It just doesn't seem like something that we would want in the game in any way, shape or form. It implies that you buy something one month, and then when the new thing comes out a month after, it is just better. So you just don't use that, you just get the new stuff, and it gets into that pay to win mentality, and that you always have to keep buying the new stuff to stay competitive. And that's why power creep has these negative connotations to it. But then I like to think about the fact that when FFG are going back and fixing something, does that really imply that that ship isn't still what it was? You already own it, just because it's now better because you got cards from somewhere else. Or if, for example, an upgrade comes out that's really viable on a given ship, I would say, I suppose Mindlink came out with that, but obviously auto thrusters going on to Fel to make him the powerhouse he was a couple of waves ago, that kind of thing. It's really good for me anyway, to see them still paying attention to the older ships and giving them something. And I think the way I commented on it is that if you're dragging the bad ships up to the level of the new stuff you're doing, then at some point everything will be at the same level, because there's only a finite number of old things. So as long as the new level stays roughly where it is, and I think the spread of wave 9, 8 and 7 is mainly dominated by the fact that the Lancer and the Protectorate came out together and have that awesome synergy with the Paratani squad, and that accounts for some of wave 8 as well. And that's a big part of the numbers, if you actually go in and read the article, is obviously Paratani, and then you have wave 7 defenders. But I honestly think that when we see wave 10 hit, these numbers won't really change with regards to the percentage of wave 9 cards we're seeing. I think we're at that level now where, again, Max Brooks is in the design now and he's be up to speed. So you've got the spell where Frank and Alex were taking over and starting to develop the way they wanted X-Wing to go, and we'll see a similar kind of thing with Max. But let's bring it back up again. There we go. So you've got the fact that Frank and Alex took over around about this point where they were then the leads on it, and then Max come in somewhere around this bit, I think. I'm not 100%, but I know he comes in around about here. So if you look at these in isolation, it would be a similar type of story. It's just the designers getting to grips with what they want to do. And I think that this isn't supposed to be like in defense of FFG or anything like that. I'm not denying that cards are better than they were, but I'm arguing that it's not really a problem, I suppose, because if everything's getting more powerful but they're also going back and fixing everything that isn't as powerful, surely everything will at some point hit that level and be fine. There will be misses, and I think that there's cards that are blatantly not designed to be competitive. I don't think that the Rebel TIE Fighter is going to be an amazing killy ship, but it's going to see play and it's going to have interesting build paths and different things like that. The Upsilon shuttle, I think it's going to sit in a niche that doesn't necessarily need to be filled, but then you've got cards which I think are going to be really strong from the set. Like, I think General Hux is going to be amazing. I'll have to build some squads and try and show off how he can be used, but I think that there's definitely scope for him to be a really powerful card from Wave 10, but it doesn't mean the Upsilon is going to be the right place for him. And I don't know, I think it's hard to try and argue that it's not really power creep, it's getting the game to a correct position, because for the best example would be that in Wave 1, if you look at the not knowing anything about where X-Wing is going to sit and you're trying to just develop it and get it out there to the people, you have the X-Wing and the TIE Advanced, and you price them both the same. You've got a given number of pips to put in the different statistics, and you give them the same number of pips, so they must be equal in value. The fact that the X-Wing gets 3 in attack and 2 in defense, and the Advance gets 2 in defense, 2 in attack and 3 in defense, means that it's balanced against itself. But obviously, once you scratch the surface of that assumption and realize how wrong your model is, you redesign that model and move it forwards. So I think that there's going to be power creep in that aspect of, alright, that didn't actually work the way we expected it to. And yeah, you can argue that things should be caught in playtesting, but you can't catch everything. You're going to see things slip through, and you might not even be in the mindset. Like with Dengaru, for example, people were saying that Manaru was just bad when we reviewed her on Nova Squad and stuff like that. Manaru was just not where it was going to be, and then you see that evolve into Dengaru, which completely blew us out of the water. and then you see it evolve into Paratani, which the Mind Link and Manaru combinations, which were there in the box for everyone to see, and people just don't. And like, how long did it take for Paratani and Mind Link to be shown off to its full potential, considering the amount of time we saw Manaru be in the game? And if it's getting released to the open and it isn't being hit straight away, and that's the kind of things you'll see that playtest brings up, would be that it's those combinations that everybody talks about right away, because everyone sees them in playtest and wants to try them to see if they're that good or that bad. And it's just common sense that that's the way it would go. So I don't know how we'd expect for playtesters to be able to find everything, but I think that the game is getting better. The state of the game is going to keep improving, and I don't like the complaints of power creep. I'm not denying that it exists, but I'm trying to say I suppose that it's healthy for the game. I don't feel like it is negative. I think that if we look at the number of squads, so taking into account, if we look at wave 4 stuff, there's going to be a comparison. Let's find a good part of the graph so I can bring it back in. There we go. I'll bring it back to this one, I think. So we've got defenders with 17%, jump masters 12%. This is just the top 8 cuts. Protectorates at 8.8, K-wings at just under 7, shadowcasters just above 6. So we've got right up into the top 6 is where we'll stop. And if you look at wave 4, it would have been Han Solo and 3 Zeds. So you would have had Han and Zeds, or Whisper and something, as just a massive proportion of it, like really really big proportions of these things. And now we've got a decent breakdown of like the top 20, and I just think that it might be power creep that there's more stuff, but there's more stuff being taken from 3 bigger waves. So remember, the 4 ships that came out in wave 1, 2 and 3, and wave 4 I suppose, were both for 2 factions, and you get 4 ships where you get the scum. And I'm trying to think of the best way to frame it. Yeah, there's more stuff from these new waves, but there's also less stuff in these. So I think what I'm trying to say is that obviously power creep does exist, but if it's moving the game into a healthier place, is it actually something to complain about? If it's actually taking it from being a stale meta to something that's vibrant and alive. And yeah, people are saying that Paratine is really strong, it's not susceptible to any of the counters in the current meta. Oh, that's how metas evolve. What's good today isn't supposed to be good forever, as people shape something. I think that the Decimator with Vader could make a big comeback, because I honestly think that's a really strong counter to Paratani. I think that if you can find a nice second big hitter, for example, an Upsilon shuttle that can really punch through Ventress's defences, there's a potential there. If Ventress has got to be stressing the Upsilon to stop it from exploding her, and there's a lot of table talk to go on about it, but I think that those ships that aren't seen in this pie chart can really come to a fore as the meta evolves. But that's about it, I suppose. I don't want to ramble on too much, and I probably already have, to be honest, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on this really well written article, so I'll link it in the description, so make sure you give it a read yourself and take it on board. And yeah, let me know what you think about power creep yourselves. What cards do you think are horribly broken, and what would you want to do to fix them? Do you want to have stuff just never seen, like the pre-fixed defenders were never seen, and now the highest showing ship in the meta? So which one's better? I mean, I love defenders, and I still don't really fly them that often because now everyone's flying them, and I can't be a special snowflake. But let me know if you agree or disagree, and we'll have a conversation. Thanks, everyone. Bye.